Welcome to another episode of Chasing the Wind. I'm Pastor Mark. Thanks for stopping by, and I'm going to thank you in advance for sharing this video, because I am taking it by faith that you are going to share this video. And so, any of the Drash Ministries videos that really minister to you, share them. It helps us. Like them. Tell us, hey, that was a really good video. Put that in the comments, especially Andrews, because he needs all the boost he can get. Anyway, I'm just joking because he's sitting right here while I'm recording. Anyway, enough of this nonsense. Want to talk to you about something that been off for a couple weeks. I was on vacation, and we had Thanksgiving, and so I'm back, and here we are. And so I've told you before, and so I'm going to tell you again. We do not have cable or dish at my home. We pull up YouTube and watch YouTube video, comes across on our TV thing or whatever there. And so there'll be different scenes, and I'm kind of a junkie. I can veg in front of movie scenes and stuff, all that stuff. But anyway, there was one scene that popped up in those last couple of weeks that I was off that, and I think I've told you this too. The Lord sometimes speaks to me through movie scenes and quotes from different movies. And so this time there was one, I don't know it's necessarily, there's just a thought that came to me through it. And so I want to just share it with you. The movie is called Scent of a Woman. Now, the gist of the movie is there's a retired Army colonel who, through carelessness, became blind and had to retire. His career military guy, and anyway, he hires this young man to kind of be his guide for a weekend. It's like his last hurrah before he takes care of business. He's just really depressed. His plan is to kill himself, and the young man doesn't know it. But so the scene comes to play where he sends the kid out to they had taken a trip, and he kind of was extravagant, spent all sorts of money on food and everything else, and very nice hotel. And excuse me, he sends this young man. He goes, go get me some more whiskey or whatever he needed, bourbon, whatever he was drinking, didn't matter. And but he's dressed in his dress uniform, and the kid starts to go out as Chris O'Donnell and Al Pacino. Great acting. And so Chris O'Donnell's Charlie is his character name. He starts to go out to get whatever this errand was. And he realizes that Colonel Slade is going to kill himself while he's gone. He didn't want, Colonel Slade Al Pacino's character did not want him in there when he was going to do this. Long story short, the scene shows up where Charlie comes back and he confronts him right before he does this. And so here this army guy who knows all sorts of, he's tougher than leather. And then the Charlie goes to take his gun from him. And, so they get in this little scuffle. And Charlie's gotten himself into a situation at this prep school he's part of. And so anyway, they're both kind of in a predicament where they feel like their lives are over. And so Colonel Slade's yelling at Charlie, "Get out of here!" And he says to him, "I'm in the dark here." He says, Colonel Slade says this to Charlie, this young man. "I'm in the dark here." He can't. He's blind, so he's I can't say anything. My life's over. And Charlie says to him, "Well, my life's over too." He says, "So shoot me too." And Colonel Slade says to him, he says, "You don't want to die, Charlie." And Charlie says to him, "You don't want to either." And he says, kind of funny, he says, "Give me 2 reasons why," Colonel Slade said, "Give me 2 reasons why I shouldn't kill myself. Or give me 1 reason." Charlie says, "I'll give you 2. He goes, you dance the tango better than anybody I've ever known." And he says, "And you drive a Ferrari better than anybody I've ever seen." He goes, and Colonel Slade says, "Have you ever seen anybody do either one of those?" He goes, "No." I was sitting there watching this. And the thought hit me. There are a lot of people in the dark out there. Darkness, if you're familiar with the phrase "dark night of the soul," it does not necessarily mean evil. It just means you're in the dark. You can't see what's right in front of you. And spiritually, John of the Cross talked about the dark night of the soul. And it's not evil, as I said. It's about not understanding and seeing what God's doing. And so sometimes we can get in those positions where we're just like, God, I don't know what you're doing. I can't see you. I don't know what's going on. And it can be very scary. And you don't know you're going through a dark night of the soul till you've gotten through the dark night of the soul. And the thought hit me as I was watching there, and I just felt the Holy Spirit talking to me saying, we all need somebody to care when we're in that dark night of the soul. I was thinking about this as I was kind of preparing and pondering the Lord and seeking the Lord on this. And, that sums up Jesus's ministry. Whether it was the woman at the well who had no hope, she had to go to the well at noon because the other women didn't want her to go. It was all very shame-based. Whether it was the woman who was bleeding, who had to push through the crowd and just touch the hem of his garment because she had shame, because she didn't want to, she couldn't be near anybody and she didn't want to be exposed. Which brings me to this, is that's what being in the dark is about. It's about the shame, the toxic shame in our lives. It makes us feel like we're in the dark. It's a very scary place. And it's a place that we just don't know what's going on, and it can be very disheartening. And I will tell you, sometimes we just need somebody to care, not to fix it, not to come in and try and pull us out of it. Sometimes we need to just sit with that darkness. But there comes a time, and God will send those people in, and they will be Jesus with skin on, where that person will come in and be that person who cares. They may not say a word. Reminds me of another movie, Forrest Gump, when Forrest sits down with Jenny when she's back at the house where she was abused. And she's throwing rocks at the house, enough to her way of dealing with the pain that went on there. And, sometimes there's just not enough rocks. But all Forrest did was sit there with her and let her throw the rocks. Sometimes we need to be the one who says, you don't want to kill yourself. I've not been with someone who was going to do that. I guess I have. Actually, one time, now that I think about it, I was on the phone with a person who had just slit their wrists. And I hung up and I called the police, and they were able to track and get over there to help. That just came to me as I thought about that. But sometimes we need someone who will just be there. Sometimes they have to fight the battle for us because we don't have enough strength to do it. Doesn't mean we always do it. I always tell people, I'll jump into your junk pile with you, but I won't go in by myself. You're going with me, and we're going to work through it. Don't know where you're at. It's interesting. This one's coming during the holidays, because some of you might be sitting there thinking, maybe someone's going to watch this video, and they're just thinking to themselves, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm in the dark here. Well, it's very interesting, because the whole point of Advent is that the light of the world has come. That's why we light the Advent candles, to remind ourselves that the coming of the light, the light of the world, Jesus Christ into the world. And maybe you know that person, and maybe you just need to be the one that says, no, you don't want to do this. I'm here with you. I care. And let's walk toward the light. Let's walk toward Jesus. And let Jesus be the light that brings clarity to your darkness. So I'm going to leave it right there, people. Folks, if you know someone needs to hear that, please share it. And maybe someone needs to hear this. So till next time, I'm going to leave it right there. You're not in the dark. You are so worth it. That's why Jesus came, because you're worth it. And he loves you. So until next time, Merry Christmas. Keep chasing the wind, because the wind is chasing you. I'm Pastor Mark. Grace and peace.